Hey guys, so I'm going to do a video here on how to change the transmission fluid filter and transmission temperature sensor on this 2005 Hyundai Accent. Evidently, the transmission temperature sensor is a common failure on these cars, and it is inside the transmission on the bottom. You have to drop the transmission pan and the filter to access the sensor, and then it's pretty easy to change. As you can see over here, I've got 4 quarts of fluid you'll need. The system does take more, but when you're just doing a pan drop, evidently you only need 4 quarts. I've got this Amely synthetic universal fluid, one of the few fluids that is Hyundai compatible. It is compatible with SP3, which a lot of people online will swear that's the only thing you can put in here. The transmission will blow up, which is the Hyundai factory fluid. This I have access to. It's great fluid. I've used it before. It's $6 a piece, give or take a few. I have a wholesale account. There's your transmission filter, and look at the old filter covered in this gray, kind of a gray slime. That's kind of normal for transmissions that haven't had a filter or fluid changed in a while. This particular car has 89,000 miles on it, and I believe the filter is original and the fluid may have done once. It wasn't too burnt. The filter kit comes with a gasket and the O-ring and the filter, and I believe that was around $18 or so, so not too bad. Next, we have over here the transmission pan. This transmission pan actually has gasket sealant on it. No gasket was there when I pulled it, so I'm not familiar enough with these transmissions to know if that's factory, or it may be somebody that was in here and this fluid just still looks terrible. I'm not too sure on that. This is the temp sensor. There's your part number right there. This is the old one I pulled out. You can get this on Amazon for cheap, $18, $20. And you have magnets that are in this pan. I've already cleaned them, but these were covered in sludge, and there's your remnants. Like I said, that's not too uncommon. This transmission's not blown up or anything like that. There's no metal shrapnel, but you're going to have some wearing, and that's usually from the clutches themselves. And this is a little bit above what I normally see, but like, it makes me believe this is probably original. So long story short, you've got a drain plug in this plan, 17 millimeter, which is really nice. You can drain all the fluid out of the transmission before you drop this pan, so it doesn't go spilling all over you. And there's only a little bit left that you can tilt down and drain when you get these last. There's 10 millimeter bolts all the way around. They're all the same size, and you just need an extension and a 10 millimeter socket, and you can knock those loose. And you have to tap this pan a few times. It won't drop right on you with this sealant setup. I don't know if yours is going to be like that. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if that's factory or if somebody has done that. Now, the sensor is here's the bottom of the transmission, and the sensor is right here. Now, I've already replaced it. The filter sits right here in front of it. Filter comes off with 3 10 millimeter bolts, 4 actually. So that pops right off and pulls down and out. Now you can see this actually has a harness plug on this, on the other end. Let me see if I can get my focus in. We'll zippity do that there. See those 2 blue wires going to that white plug right there. Now, funny thing, you're going to think that you just pull that plug straight down, but nope, you can't actually. This comes out from the top. And you wouldn't really think that, but you need to squeeze the 2 tabs on this white plug, not the pink one. And that leads to this transmission temperature sensor. Once you squeeze those 2 tabs on the end, you have to push with a flathead screwdriver up and don't pull down, because there's a plug on the other end of the engine on the top of the transmission that leads to this. And you can snake this right out. This is actually the same size as that hole, so it will go through that hole and up into the engine bay. And that takes a minute to figure that out, because you really do want to pull that towards you the way it looks. And that's where it gets a little bit trickier. We have to do some more labor. And what you will need to do is you will need to take out the battery and the battery box. So I shouldn't say battery box, battery tray. And then in order to get the tray out, you need to take out the air snorkel and take the 10 millimeter bolts off the airbox assembly. They both bolt to the tray. So you pull the snorkel out, there's two 10s right here. And then you can access to this, and then all the way down in here is your plug on the other side. If you can see the white part of the sensor, that is the new sensor. And it has its harness plug right here that you're going to need to pull up. I leave this plug on and pull the assembly all together. Once you release those ears on the other side, it'll tap up a little bit. And you can pull it right out, disconnect it, plug it in, snake the new one back through, and make sure you tap it down and lock those ears back in. So that's your transmission temperature sensor. But really from here on out, it's pretty much the reverse. There's no other tricks here. The sensor is not too bad. The pan, you're going to have to scrape that and clean it. If you want to use a gasket or a gasket sealer, you'll top off with the 4 quarts that you're going to have to pour down through the dipstick right here. So make sure you have a funnel with a pointy nose on it, and you can go ahead and fill the transmission up back that way. But all in all, not a bad job. I'd highly recommend. These transmissions are kind of weak and really shouldn't go long term without changing the fluid and the filter on this. But I hope that helps everybody out. Like I said, this is for 2000 to 2005 automatic Hyundai Accents. Good luck.